Hello and welcome to today's episode of The Rift. You got to level 9 in the previous episode of this, so hopefully we can get a bit more than that today. You'll notice that I'm now using Vault, because I have it, which is great. Still playing on hard because the XP bonuses are better on hard. And still making our way through a lot of this. We've got one of these rifts. So. The great thing about Vault is you can do that. We'll grab the Pool of Reflection that basically gives us bonus XP based on a pool. So it's well worth using. This is all of this. So I was thinking about this, and I realised that some people might be wondering why I would be doing this with a character that wasn't a seasonal character, where I can have a fully fresh start with no gold and everything like that. And the primary reason I thought was because I would then need to create a second character who could farm rift keys. And while that's certainly possible, did that goblin drop nothing? It did, it dropped nothing. Okay, that's weird. Yeah, so, anyway. So, I thought about doing it as a seasonal character when I came up with the idea. But the problem I have with seasonal characters is that I would need a second character to farm all the keystones. And I would need to take the time to farm all the keystones, whereas I have like 700 odd keystones stacked up at the moment, and that should be more than enough for this series. And while it would be fun to have a from scratch character using the seasonal system, I just don't have the time to commit to supporting that character for these videos, whereas in this way I've already got everything I need to support the character. I've got the rift keys, and of course I've got additional gold materials if I need to craft stuff. I'm sort of not planning to do much crafting until probably max level. The goal with this character will be to get up to Torment 6 using rifts only. So actually leveling is just the first stage of that, because then there's the going through the Torment difficulties and getting gear and all that kind of stuff. And that'll be probably the more fun part later on as we go through all this. So, but for now we're just sort of working our way through everything. That might be an upgrade actually. Let's just check. Oh, that's an upgrade. That's very much an upgrade. The tunic. There you go. That's... yeah, I'll take that. That's an upgrade. I need a quiver. I tried dual wielding crossbows, but that actually brought my damage down, so we're not doing that at this stage. So, we've almost already made it through that pool that we got from the fountain before, which is kind of good. Ow. So yeah, that's the primary reason I'm not using a seasonal character for this. The other reason is that I kind of wanted to do this now, and of course Season 2 hasn't started yet as I make this video. It might have started when you watch it, but it wasn't active when I made this video, and I sort of wanted to get this started pretty quickly after I've done it. I promise we'll move away from using rapid fire as soon as I get a better skill than rapid fire. But for the moment it's about the most powerful spender I've got, so it's pretty much mandatory until we start getting a few more levels to unlock some of the better spenders. Not to say that rapid fire isn't good, but it does chew through your hatred a bit, and also has the other problem of limiting your mobility. So we've just unlocked a passive skill slot, which means that we've unlocked a couple of passive skills. I'll just clear these groups out, and then we'll put in our first passive skill, which will probably be Thrill of the Hunt. It's not a great passive, but it's a passive, and I'd rather have a passive than any non-passive. And yeah, Thrill of the Hunt is a little bit useful. They're both not great passives at this stage, and we won't get better passives for a few more levels yet, so as soon as I unlock it, I'll switch to forgotten the name of it. I think it's the next passive that unlocks, actually. I'll check after this. Yeah, as soon as it unlocks, I'll go for Blood Vengeance. But of course, I won't end up using those passives as we get to higher levels and unlock more and more of them. But early in the game, as you're starting out with the character, Blood Vengeance is not too bad. So it'll certainly help with Rapid Fire if we're stuck with that for several more levels. Vortex is the natural enemy of Volt. What I really can't wait for... Oh, wow. Yeah. What I really can't wait for is Sentry, because that'll be really nice once we get that. So... But we're a fair way away from getting Sentry, I think, at this point. And of course, Sentry won't be my right mouse button skill anyways. Even without the Marauder's bonus and the other bonuses you can get for it, Sentry is still, these days, a pretty good skill. Like, it used to be not so great, but it's now pretty good no matter what you're using it with, so... I really can't wait to get the rune for Rapid Fire that reduces its cost. So that'll make life a lot easier. It's not too bad at the moment, but later on we'll be able to reduce the initial cost of it, which will be really handy, because it'll basically mean I can keep Rapid Fire up almost all the time. If you're watching when I start using it, you'll see how much that initial cost is and how much... It doesn't chew through Hatred so much, but the initial cost is quite high, and that's where your Hatred ends up going when you're using it. So yeah, you'll see me building up Hatred to use it, and then sort of not switching back until I run out of Hatred most of the time. Mostly because it does a lot more damage, a lot quicker. That's a ring, so that's our first ring. Actually, let's just check. What else have we picked up? Picked up 2 pairs of gloves. I feel like that's better because it's got strength on it. Those pants aren't better. That coveted tabard is an upgrade? No. You know, it almost isn't an upgrade, that. So I'm not going to switch to it. Now, the other thing I am going to do is just check what dual wielding these crossbows gives me in terms of damage. 30.10 versus 33.55, so yeah, we'll go with the single thing. I still want a quiver if we're going to do it this way though. So anyway, let's keep going down to the next level from the look of it. So through here and into Maddening Journey 2. Here we go. I keep hitting my sentry button even though I don't have sentries yet. That's kind of funny. So there's a possibility, outside of this video, there's a possibility that I may have to reduce the amount of videos I produce in a week soon. Mostly due to real life circumstances changing. I don't want to say too much, but there's a chance I may have got a job in the near future, and that will reduce my ability to produce videos. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen or not. At this point, as much I'd like to make this my job, obviously realistically that's difficult to do and will require a lot more work than I may be able to put in. But I will try to keep making videos if that happens. It just won't be anywhere near as frequently as I've been lately. I'll try to maintain some kind of schedule with it, if it comes through, of course. There's a chance it won't. And in fact, I'm sort of thinking it probably won't happen, but it's just worth noting in case I suddenly drop off. And these are the last videos I'm able to make. I'll be doing a batch of videos today because of various things. In fact, I'll talk about that in tomorrow's video, why I'm doing a batch of videos today. Because it's a really funny story, but I want to save it for the other video. So, what I want to do in this video is kill these guys, because they're really annoying. How close are we to doing that? Not close. I suppose I could use Smokescreen. Gee, Smokescreen uses a lot of discipline. I never realised that. I don't remember it using that much discipline, but then again, mostly I've been playing it with a level 70 Demon Hunter who probably has a lot of cost reduction, so... That seemed to be a quiver. Was that a quiver? That was a quiver, so... That should up our damage a bit. and we should be able to stick to two-hand quiver for the rest of this development of this character, so that's really good. I will stop to check equipment we pick up and equip it as we go through this, because this isn't a greater rift. I'm not limited on holding my inventory, so I will be able to just check and upgrade as we go through. So every so often I'll just stop and do that, go through the items we've picked up. Hopefully we won't fill our inventories up too dramatically as we go through, because that would be annoying. And you can already see that those upgrades are having a bit of an impact on our damage, so it's really good. What was that? That was, Witch Doctor gear. Don't really need that, don't really want it, but it's pretty much just salvage fodder at the end of the run. So I probably shouldn't even bother salvaging, because I'm not really going to be doing any crafting that requires early crafting materials, so I may just vendor most of the stuff I pick up at the moment. I did salvage everything after my run yesterday, but getting the old pre-Reaper of Souls gear is not really useful to me, because I won't be doing that. So, I mean, if I get desperate, maybe, but I've got enough pre-Reaper crafting mats anyway that it's not a big issue, so I'll just hit level 11. We're halfway through this route too, so we got Bowlers. Now, Bowlers is a really good skill, and I'm debating whether I should switch to it as my Hatred builder. We also got Withering Fire, which is the rune I want, so I'm going to switch into Bowlers. Unruned Bowlers, I think, is not quite as good as Puncturing Arrow, though. But I will switch into it just for a little while. Just play with it. And we will switch that on, because that is massively useful to us. So Withering Fire doesn't really change the damage output, but it changes the cost, and it means we can keep Rapid Fire up for longer as we use it. And it just, yeah, you can see right now the impact that has on my Hatred. Bowlers with the delay is kind of annoying. If you get the, I think it's a quiver that gives you the instant Bowlers explosions. But with the delay, it can be a bit annoying. I think for the moment we might stick to it though. Puncturing Arrow and Hungering Arrow, I don't mind them, but I prefer the visual impact the Bowlers has. We're eventually probably going to switch over to Evasive Fire once we unlock a few runes for that anyway, so. But I may even just chop and change every so often just for the hell of it, just to see what feels better. In a lot of cases, these kind of builds are very much all about the feel. And you see that delay on Bowlers, which is what I'm talking about. I'm not a big fan of it. Sorry, Bowlers. I should be pronouncing it properly. So the downside to Rapid Fire always is that the moment you move, you have to spend that initial cost again. So it just needs to build up. I'll just use Smoke Screen for the evasion it gives me there. So it basically causes enemies to stop aggroing on you, which can be really handy. Especially if you have pets out, if you have Companion or something like that. We will be going Companion as soon as we get it as well, that's a given, because Companions are really good. Although the early Companions aren't great, the Wolf Companion is the one we really want. And of course, if we get Marauders and the set bonus, we'll be able to do all that. So we've got a lot to deal with here, and this is quite dense, particularly at this early stage of our progress. But we don't have much longer, especially if we can get rid of this frozen now, that'll be really cool. Yeah, that delay on Bowlers is kind of irritating. I may actually switch back to Hungering Arrow. In fact, after I clear this group, I will switch back to Hungering Arrow. So, there you go, that's me already deciding that I'm not a fan of Bowlers. But I thought I'd get it out, have a bit of play, just to see if I prefer it. I've never been a big fan of it. With the rune that reduces the explosion delay, it's better. And of course, as I said, that quiver that gives you instant Bowlers explosions is always good too. I think it's a quiver, it might be a crossbow actually, it might be a two-hander. So. I think I've got enough space here that I can just make that switch, assuming I'm not in combat. There we go. Bloody hell. Just got attacked right at the end there. Okay, I should be able to make that switch now. So, back to Hungering Arrow with Puncturing Arrow. Grenade used to be a really good skill, but it doesn't seem to be popular in a lot of the top end builds these days. So. Picking up a fair few iridescent tears through this one too. So those are, for those who don't know, that's one of the older crafting materials. Pretty sure you probably know that from the moment you start getting through this game. As an aside, with regards to picking up legendaries, I believe the earliest we can pick up legendaries is level 15, so we won't see any before we get there, so that's possibly not going to happen in this video. But it's highly likely to not happen in this video given the progress we've got at the moment. The downside to this is that these videos are going to take a bit longer than the older videos did, so we're looking at probably around 20 minutes per rift, and that means 20 minutes per video. But that'll get faster as we level up and we get better gear. And once we start equipping yellow gear, rare gear, then we'll be a lot better. Lower nitro. So one of the nice things about Hungering Arrow is it actually is a homing attack. It doesn't require you to be perfectly accurate. You can miss with it, but the arrows change direction. And of course they pierce, they go to hit the next available enemy they find. So I'm not sure of the exact algorithm on it, but it probably doesn't matter all that much. I think I mentioned before though, that one thing I really wish would happen in regular rifts is for the Rift Guardian to cause all the other enemies in the rift, or at least in that level, to despawn. Maybe even just in an area around the Rift Guardian, just despawns all the enemies nearby, to give you sort of a clear arena to fight the Guardian in. Yeah, I'm definitely much more of a fan of Hungering Arrow than I am in bowlers. We should be getting used to the Rift Guardian pretty shortly here. It's been a fairly long one, this one up here. We got to level 12 too, so that's good. That'll help a little bit. Oh, we've unlocked Chakram too. I won't be going to Chakram, at least not immediately, because it's actually a really annoying skill. I'd like to unlock the other two hotbar slots down the bottom there, skill bar. Slots 3 and 4. It's kind of annoying that they lock you out of those until you unlock specific skills for the categories they're supposed to be in. Being someone who uses, who turns off the limits on skill categorization, which you should do. The first thing you should do when you play this game is disable that, because it's about the most annoying feature of the game. It blows my mind that Blizzard still insist on keeping it there. And I know it might have a benefit for new players, but the way skills are introduced, I think negates that anyway. So. And we've got an All-Ash. Cool. Try and get that, because that'll make things a bit better, because I'll have 2 stacks of Nephilim Glory instead of 1. And that will help a lot with fighting this guy. So. We should be able to just rapid fire him down. Assuming we don't run out of rapid fire, which we just did, so that's not annoying. So build up some rapid fire at the moment. And then it should just be a fairly simple case of just getting him down with it. So much slower to kill him this way though. Here we go. Oh, and of course he teleports the moment I do that, doesn't he? All-Ash is based on, is it Israel in Act 4? That's the boss he's meant to be. The one that summons all the dudes and you get the massive massacre bonus. It used to be possible to get like 400 or 500 massacre bonuses off him, but Blizzard changed the fight to make it less possible to do that. And also you don't get the XP bonus for doing it that way now. I think I've run out of patron here. Doesn't have a lot of health, so I'll die pretty quickly now. I may have to kill these ads that summon. No, they don't. Fiery Brimstone, that's an unusual thing to get this early on. And some blood shards. So, and I'm just going to kill that guy with the before. I think there's a little bit, no, just gold. Cool, okay, so that's this rift over and done with. I'll just check to see if we got anything worth upgrading. We've got a leather hood of focus that has intelligence on it for some reason. That's not really an upgrade. That's not really an upgrade. That is an upgrade, and that's not really an upgrade. Where possible, I'll try not to replace rares with magics, just because that would be kind of annoying. It feels like a downgrade whenever you do that. Anyway, it looks like we've done alright out of this particular run, and I'll be back with another video tomorrow, so thank you all for watching.
I am returning to town.